Hello, book lovers, and welcome to Book Talk Radio Club. My name is Claire Harris, and today I'm talking to author F.B. Nobles. She-Wolf in the Shadows is Francis's debut novel, and its tagline is, "If you poke the wolf, you get the fangs." Dr. Ava Wolf has it all: beauty, brains, and extraordinary wealth. When Mac McIntosh discovers Ava's world, he courts her, hoping to accumulate his own wealth and independence. Ava realizes the cold, hard truth. Mac doesn't love her. He only wants her social status and wealth. Determined to regain control of her life, Ava plots to turn the tables on Mac. When Mac suddenly disappears without a trace in a Mercedes with $60,000 in cash, tongues start wagging. Let's find out more. Hello, Francis. Welcome, and thank you for coming to talk to me on Book Talk Radio Club.
Thank you very much for having me, Claire.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Dr. Ava Wolf is a brilliant electrical and computer engineer and has just started her own business. Tell us about her character. She's quite blunt and forthright, isn't she?
She does come across as very forthright and blunt. It's her intelligence, I believe, that makes her that way. She is just stating what is very obvious. And she believes in complete honesty, and sometimes that's not well received. And she also has a kind of a dry wit that a lot of people don't understand.
She meets Mac McIntosh when he hires her to write an accounting program for his company. But Mac is not all he seems, is he? Would you like to give us an idea of his hidden agenda?
Well, Mac concocts a series of 3 different plots or plans designed to separate Ava from her fortune, because he thinks he's as smart as Ava. But that's a big mistake for Mac.
And then Mac suddenly disappears without a trace. Ava's not the only one under suspicion, though, is she? Who else is under suspicion?
Well, there are a plethora of suspects. Of course, Ava is the most obvious, followed by her best friend, who is also a deadly enemy of Mac's. Then there's Ava's new husband, Russell Giordano, Mac's mistress, Kelly Woodall, and Mac's new father-in-law comes into the mix as well, because he doesn't like Mac any more than anyone else does.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't sound a very likeable character, to say the least.
No, he's not.
And then Mac suddenly disappears without a trace. Oh, sorry, I've just asked you that one. I do beg your pardon. The cover of She-Wolf in the Shadows is very striking and makes me think of shape-shifting. Without going into too much detail and giving away the story, of course, is Ava Wolf a shapeshifter?
No, she's not. At least not in book 1. I have plans for a change in Ava in book 2, but I'm not sure if she'll become a shapeshifter in the traditional sense where she becomes another form or an animal.
Right. I always like to ask authors where they come up with the idea for their book. What inspired you to write She-Wolf in the Shadows?
My travels and life experiences. I was very fortunate to work with a lot of, they were very wealthy people, and I got a really good look into their habits and their lifestyles, and I thought, this should be in a book. And I would tell stories at work. And every time I did, somebody would invariably say, you should write a book. You should write a book. You should put these stories down. So instead of a lot of stories, I came up with a lot of scenes.
Right.
And they became a story. And then that turned into the novel.
It's an interesting way of doing it. Let's talk a little bit about you now, Francis Nobles, author. You live in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, Canada, and you enjoy all the maritime provinces have to offer. Breathtaking scenery, delicious food, and friendly people. Sounds wonderful. Is it your hometown?
Well, I was born just across the harbour in Halifax, Nova Scotia. But yes, it's my hometown.
Oh, lovely. It sounds lovely there. But I always imagine Nova Scotia to be absolutely freezing in the winter. Am I correct?
Oh yes, a lot of our winter days are sub-zero. We have to have lots of warm clothing.
You were Sorry, please carry on.
I was just going to say, I like the 4 seasons because it gives us a lot of different activities. In the summer we can go hiking and biking and swimming, and in the winter we can go cross-country skiing, alpine skiing, skating, and then we can enjoy a nice cup of steaming cocoa in front of a roaring fire.
Sounds like a good idea to me. I'll just stick with the cocoa in front of the roaring fire and forget about everything else.
That sounds like it could be a good plan.
You were a legal assistant for 25 years and retired as a Microsoft Word document architect and forensic document specialist. Okay, please explain what a Microsoft Word document architect does.
Yeah, well, it's exactly what the name implies. When I worked, I built Microsoft Word documents. I would start a precedent, put the styles in that were needed, and then other people could use those documents to create whatever they needed.
So they were kind of like templates.
Yes, it was very much like creating templates.
Okay, that's interesting.
And as a forensic specialist, if someone had what we refer to as a broken Word document, I would help them fix it.
Ah.
So if their document crashed, I would try to get it back and try to see what made it crash, see if we could fix it, and we would have to go from there. But that's what I did for a living.
Oh, you began a love of reading at an early age, reading the paper with your father at about age 4. That's early. Then your mother introduced you to the Nancy Drew mysteries. Who are your favourite authors now and why?
I've gotten a few favorites over the years. Agatha Christie, I love her mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen King and Earl Stanley Gardner. But my all-time favorite is author Sidney Sheldon.
Okay.
I love the way he weaves the story in such a way that you continually think, I know who did it, but it turns out you don't until the very end. And he's a prolific writer, and I'm an avid reader, so it was kind of a nice match.
So I was going to ask you, is She-Wolf and the Shadows a one-off or the first in a series? You say you're going to be writing book 2, so I guess the answer is it's going to be the first in a series.
Well, at least a duology, yes.
Okay.
I haven't looked past that, but I wouldn't mind writing her as a series, and not at all.
Well, I think it sounds to me like she's a character that could go across series. She's kind of 3-dimensional rather than 1-dimensional.
Thank you. I've really tried hard to make her that way.
Yeah, she definitely is. I mean, I read the Look Inside bit on Amazon, and I was hooked.
Wonderful. I know that some of my readers and reviewers have said I couldn't put it down. I read till 2 o'clock in the morning and things like that. So I was really so pleased because I didn't know how it would be received.
Well, you never do you? But when you get the reviews and when you get feedback, positive feedback, it's wonderful.
Oh, it is. It's so helpful. Even, a lot of people, they don't want to say something negative, but I tell my reviewers, please tell me the truth. It's the only way I'm going to learn and grow as an author.
Exactly. So where can Book Talk Radio Club's listeners purchase She-Wolf and the Shadows? I mean, apart from Amazon, is it going to be anywhere else?
Well, no, it's just available on Amazon now, but locally, here in Dartmouth, it's at the Dartmouth Book Exchange in paperback.
Oh, lovely. All right, well, thank you, Frances. Please come back on Book Talk Radio Club when you've published your next book. I'd love to chat with you and hear more. In the meantime, good luck for the future, and thank you, everyone, for listening to Book Talk Radio Club. Lovely to speak to you, Frances.
Thank you, Claire.
Bye now.